My name is Steve Simonsen. I live in the Virgin Islands, and I have been diving and doing underwater photography for over 20 years now. I started out as a dive instructor. The guys at the dive shop in Colorado where I worked kind of introduced me to underwater photography, and it has been a wild and wonderful trip ever since. I shoot many days of the year. Having access to the Caribbean waters, living in St. John has been a huge bonus for me as an underwater photographer. It allows me to practice daily, go out and test new lenses, new setups, without the added expense of throwing in a big trip just to go check something out. In 1999, I made an extended trip to Puerto Rico, 26 days, and covered the island, canvassed all the satellite islands, and the project was to create a book for Lonely Planet. A Lonely Planet Diving and Snorkel Guide to Puerto Rico. That was what really introduced me to the island and kind of gave me the title of the guy who wrote the book on Puerto Rico. So it's always a pleasure returning to Puerto Rico to get in some diving. Every spot that I dive in the Caribbean has got a unique assemblage of underwater topography, creatures, and the water quality itself. All these things combine to make even island to island different. There's always something that is specifically unique to each destination. In Puerto Rico, there is a uniqueness of the water quality, the topography. There are walls here unlike anywhere in this part of the Caribbean. Just south of the town, the little fishing village of La Parguera, there's a wall that virtually runs for 22 miles in an east-west direction. There are numerous dive sites on this wall. Some of my favorite ones like Fallen Rock, Black Wall, Ephra's Wall, Two for You. These are all names of dive sites in Parguera. And the wall is located generally about 4, 5, or 6 miles offshore. So you're exposed, you're heading out to big water. When I head out to Parguera, it's all about preparation. Mental preparation to go underwater, camera preparation so that everything's working fine. The dives are 65 to 130 feet deep. So you pick your depth and you just make sure that your camera gear is in tip-top shape so you don't have any problems. Once under the water, at that depth, you don't have that much time to really work. So the way that I prefer to work is to communicate with the dive masters ahead of time. Find out the crux of the dive. There's always a crux of the dive. And generally, you start the dive close to the crux, so there's not a lot of swimming. That's great. You can save energy, save air, get right to the good stuff, do your shooting, find a spot along the wall, achieve your buoyancy, and just hang there, position yourself just well enough to angle up, include a lot of blue water in the shot, and those gorgeous, colorful sponges and divers and fish in the foreground, and then it all comes together and you got Parguera in the bag.